In Asia, the Philippines is the bastion of Christianity with more than 86% of its population heeding the Christian teachings. And among the provinces, Cebu stands as a major pillar of the Catholic faith.
With the celebration of the 500 years of Christianity in the country, 13 churches around the island were designated with the Holy Door. But what is the Holy Door? What is its significance, and what should you do when you approach the Porta Sancta?
Tana! Kuyog Niño, as we get to know about the Holy Door and the Jubilee Churches in Cebu.
Embellished with 16 bronze panels portraying the redemption of man's sin through mercy, the Holy Door or Porta Sancta is located at the designated basilicas, cathedral, and chapel by the Holy See around the world. But what exactly is this door and what does it represent?
The Holy Door, as its name signifies, is the door of the church. Holy because the church is holy. But it specifically refers to the door that is opened on special occasions, especially on important events like Jubilee years. And in Italian, it means Porta Sancta, holy, because it is the door that leads to the church, which is the house of God, and of course, which is holy. It simply means that when the holy door is opened on important events, it welcomes everybody. It's like saying, the door of the house of God, the door of the church is open, and now you can enter. Because the Jubilee door opens for those who want to come back to God, to go back to the house of the Father, and therefore to receive love and welcoming grace from the Father. A very important purpose is to remind people, wherever you are, you might have gone far, you might have been distanced from the Father, but if you go back to the church, the home, the house of God, then the door is open for you. This door is holy because this is the door that leads back to God.
Which started as a tradition by Pope Martin V in 1423 to decree the Jubilee year, the opening of the Holy Door became an important practice in celebrating the Holy Years and has been carried on for centuries.
It became so well known, especially in the year 2000, when in the transition 2,000 years, of Christianity to after 2000, we call it the Great Jubilee, the Great Jubilee. And so there is a dramatic, very significant celebration of the opening of the Holy Door in the Vatican, the Porta Sancta. And again, it recalls the Jubilee years that had been celebrated from the tradition of the Israelites. The word jubel means, joyful proclamation, like the jubel, the horn that is being blown to proclaim an important event. That's jubilee, not jubilee. Jubilee. So it heralds an important event. And down through the centuries, jubilees were celebrated, but they are too distant for us to understand all of them. But the important thing is to be aware that the Jubilee is a herald, is a proclamation of the good news that we celebrate before every 50 years. Then after some time, whenever the Pope declares because of an important event, Then eventually, as I said, year 2000, when the Jubilee year was proclaimed, and of course it means, as I said, heralding, proclaiming the love and mercy of God and the welcoming gesture of God to invite all to enter that door and go back to the love of God.
The holy door symbolized the words of Jesus from the book of John, chapter 10, verse 7, that says, "I am the door of the sheep," and in order to make it clear that no one comes to the Father except through the Son. But how important is it actually?
To me, it is really an invitation from God. It is an invitation from Mother Church that regardless of who we are, I repeat, we may be far from God. It's like saying, come back to God, come back through that door, enter the house of God, and know that God welcomes you, especially when we, approach it with humility and with the desire to turn, I should say, a new leaf, when we desire to be converted. It is an assurance that the love of God is greater than our shortcomings. And I repeat, it is a joyful opportunity to realize that we are all welcome and that there is always that grace and that opportunity for us to become better persons, to be converted, as we put it.
Along with the declaration of a special Jubilee year in celebration of the 500 years of Christianity in the Philippines, an attached plenary indulgence was also granted by the Pope to the Archdiocese of Cebu.
The plenary indulgence should be seen in the context of, we call it the wealth of the blessings of the Church. Put plainly, it means whenever we do something good, whenever the saints make a very heroic act, but above all, the treasury, that's the word, the treasury of the merits of all the good people, is it where are being stored, in the love of the Father. And we who are ordinary mortals, even if we confess our sins, we know that there is still some stain of imperfection left with us. It is all of these, the traditional definition of the indulgences, the remission of the temporal punishment due to sin. Meaning, even if we confess our sins, it needs a little bit of time, the temporal dimension, for that sin, to be totally remitted. And it is the plenary indulgence, that treasury, the wealth of the blessings, of the merits of the saints, that because of the love of God applied to us, erase, the temporal punishment. It's a little bit complicated, but it's simply saying we appreciate the goodness and the merits of the saints because we who are not as perfect as like Mama Mary can benefit from them. The plenary indulgence, as we call them, total remission of the temporal punishment due to sin.
To pass through the holy door means to confess that Jesus Christ is Lord and to strengthen our faith in Him so we can live the new life He has given us.
In order to gain plenary indulgence upon knocking and crossing the holy door, Pope Francis has established the following conditions to be met.
Confess. A faithful must undergo a sacramental confession within several days before or after crossing through the holy door.
Pray for the Pope's intention. A faithful must pray the profession of faith, also known as the Creed.
Receive the Holy Communion. A faithful must attend the Holy Eucharist and receive the Holy Communion within several days before or after crossing through the holy door.
It is undeniable that the ongoing health crisis has become the greatest challenge in the current times.
Amidst this, and until the conclusion of the Jubilee year, The Holy Door remains open and the invitation to receive plenary indulgence is given to all.
With this said, Kuyog Niño aims to take you on a virtual pilgrimage following the tracks of the Jubilee Churches in Cebu.
I'm Chantal and I will be your guide as we course through the roads and waves of the northern end of Cebu.
And I'm Verly, who will usher you as we navigate in between the steep mountains and clear waters of southern Cebu.
Tana! Kuyog Niño!